Yeah, and you guys are not in shortage of donut shops.
Donuts.
Well, it's funny because you look at wherever there's a donut shop, there's a dentist right next to it.
Eric, on another note, like on the business side, you come here from Florida and you're in Collin County. So talk to me about where do you see the industry in Texas, specifically in Collin County right now?
Well, we saw an uptick, which has been good. So you look at, I'm a big numbers guy, sports guy.
Yeah.
So I like to keep an eye on the market and what it's doing. So as of we kind of I get a nice little market update every Friday, but as of this past Friday, you look at numbers, people, there was an uptick in applications. I'm sure you probably saw that, right, in January. So beginning of the year, I think everybody's starting to do their taxes and do everything. So you're starting to see some buyers start to be interested in coming onto the market. I think, looking at stats and everything, they're, the numbers are still healthy in terms of, inventory. I think we're at 4.8 months, which is, I think, still pretty good.
It's pretty good.
We're starting to see some healthy numbers in terms of people searching for homes, right? So I think the Google search was up 25%.
That's crazy. So more people are wanting to sell right now, or more people are wanting to buy?
Well, I think,
what are you seeing?
I think there's a lot more interested buyers that are coming into the market. Selling is still good though, right? Like you look at numbers there, 30% of the homes that were sold in January were sold over or at listing price.
It's crazy. Do you anticipate that being the same going into summer months, our busy season?
I anticipate hopefully it'll get better. I think that the uncertainty around interest rates, I think, may be a factor in why we're not seeing a larger amount of buyers coming in. But I think that trending or looking at what interest rates are going to be doing, hopefully those start to come down a little bit, which I think will hopefully help pique the interest of buyers and sellers, right? So we're always on we always have our time periods in our market, right, where sellers are trying to sell, and when school gets out in the summertime, hopefully we see some interest rates come down.
Do you find people are more willing to move like after school or during school? And why are they specifically waiting until school is out, outside of the obvious, because their children are in school? But if they're staying in the same school district, why does that matter?
I think it's when kids are, historically what I've seen, when kids are in school, they just don't like to make that move. So if they have kids, they're waiting for the kids to be out of school so that they can make their move of packing and going through the process of putting their house on the market and showings and things like that is always been historically around that summertime. But it's hard to pinpoint why or if they do it.
It's always amazed me or amused me, because it's like, if you're in the same school district, the kids aren't really doing anything anyway, because the parents are pretty much handling it.
Right.
And you think they'd want to do it before the surge hit.
Right.
They would want to be ahead of the game, not in the game, but before everybody else got out there. Why? That's so interesting that they would wait.
Yeah, it's interesting.
With everybody else.
Right. But I think there's, it goes down to motivation. I mean, I think everybody's motivation is different in how the way they look at it. So again, historically, we see the summertime being a lot more activity, just because of the school year and kids being out. But I think everybody's motivation is different when it comes to that. But it's on trend usually every year that summertime.
I know, it always amused me, because it's kind of like, why is everybody waiting till everybody else is in the pool? Why not get there before the pool opens?
Right.
Like opening up a public swimming pool. It's like, I don't know. The whole thing is just kind of bizarre to me, because if I were a mother and I were relocating, I would want to do it and get everything solidified before that time. It just seems like it'd be less brain damage. Maybe not.
Yeah. Well, I didn't move around a lot, so it's funny. I can't really talk to the experience, but just from talking with clients, so they just didn't want to change them from their friends and from their from their school groups and their sports. Even if it's in the same district, I think they just want to hold off until the end of the year so that they can make that transition.
And traumatize them during the summer.
That's right.
I'm all for traumatizing children. I have 3 kids and 2 grandkids. It's my job and my mission in life to traumatize as often and as frequently as I possibly can.
That's
I
awesome.
have tools, yes. So Eric, so we're going in, you had touched on the interest rate. So I know that the feds have made an announcement. We are not going to see an interest rate reduction in March, probably. So we had 2 in the month of January. We've already had 1 in February. So we'll probably have another one. And then we're probably going to stabilize at about 5.5 going forward. So do you think that's really going to help people get out there and make a decision to purchase a home or sell?
Yeah, I think it will. I think the uncertainty has always been the word, right? So in our industry, everybody was very uncertain of what's going to happen, and when those interest rates kept going up and not going down, there was this not a panic, but just again that uncertain mindset of we're gonna wait to see what happens. But I think with those interest rates hopefully coming down, and I know the Fed was I think they were talking about 6 changes in the year, and now it's probably going to be 3 or 4 max. So, but I
don't know that to be true, Eric, because we're coming into an election year, and the closer that we get to that date,
that's right.
I think that we're going to see a lot of scrambling going on to save the day, and I'm all for it. It's like if we can benefit from it, you guys go out there and battle it out, and we'll take advantage of it. Yeah,
it's interesting how you don't want to bring politics into to it, but it's very true, right? So and I have been saying that. I think the political mindset, or things that happen in the political world, are going to probably influence this towards the end of the year.
So I'm all for it. I'm so all for it.
Absolutely. I think that for this area, and for I think buyers in general, again, you're starting to see people get more interested, and I think it's with the interest rates starting to kind of slow down, or at least level out a little bit.
People are sending texts to us all day long. It's like, what are the rates? And talk to me, because they've been up here in the 7s. They've been watching the rates come down. So I think now, in the mid 5s, people are really wanting to put their toes in the water. And that just makes me so very happy, because, and then people who've had these higher rates when they did buy during, post-COVID events, I think that even they are looking now like maybe a good time. But talk to me, Eric, there was a time where it was multiple offers, the prices of homes really just skyrocketed. And so right now, on the higher price point homes, we're seeing these 10-15% decreases. Talk to me a little bit about what your opinion is of that, and will that be a continuing trend? And at what point do we say now's a good time to buy? I think that trend has stopped.
Yeah, I think we're trying to we're trying to help our clients and educate our clients that right now is not what it was COVID time, right? The last few years, where where it's going to be 20, 30, 40 offers, or you're looking at this house that sold even a few months ago, we can get more than that, or because we have a pool or we don't have a pool. So we're trying to educate our clients a lot more that if you price it right, based on our knowledge and our expertise, it's going to sell. Again, looking back at January, 30% of the homes sold within 14 days, and we're selling at price or above price. So I think that if you can educate them on what that price should be, and give your professional opinions and give the reasons why, the home should sell.
And what about your buyers? Can buyers come in and expect to have a negotiated sales price, even though, you say, if it's $1 million, can they still come in, and what would an appropriate number be for that as far as negotiating? Yeah, I think, again, location matters, right? So we're still seeing a very large need to be in Prosper, to be in Frisco, to be in Salina. Even Salina has come on the map. And so I think that from buyers, they have to be realistic that those markets are still very desirable. And so coming in and trying to lowball because they've been on the market for a couple of weeks is a strategy, but we want to be realistic. We don't want to offend anybody to come in and think we're just going to get a deal because they think that they've been on the market. Well, if they've been on the market for 30, 60 days, it's probably because the price wasn't set to where it should have been. And let's talk about that. Let's have a conversation, because it may not be where your mindset is well, it's been on the market for 30 days or 60 days. It should be 40,000 less. Well,
That's probably not the case, but let's take a look at it. So I think that
Well, it's kind of interesting because you said it's not, they probably have overpriced it. So it's the listing agents setting the price, right? And so you're coming in, and so how do you reconcile those two?
well, again, it's difficult in our industry right now because we as realtors have to be. Our profession is and our word is iron, right? So you need to educate your sellers, and I know there's still a lot of agents out there that will just take a listing to take a listing because their seller wants a certain price. But in my opinion, if we're not seeing eye to eye professionally, in my professional opinion, of where that price should be, then we may not be a right fit.
Good point.
And so I know that can happen quite a bit in this industry where you're taking listings just to take a listing because you want it. But what does that do when you have to, in turn, 20 or 30 days down the line say, hey, we need a price decrease? And they're saying, well, no, we're not going to do it. I mean, I look at expires all the time, right?
Yeah.
And in Collin County alone, in the last 30 days, there's been 100 expired listings.
That's crazy.
In the last 90 days, it's been about 400 or 500 expired listings, right? And so that, to me, a lot of that could be that the seller is trying to dictate the price and you're not giving them their professional opinion. So there's a lot of that you have to look at and have to educate your buyers and sellers.
With a combative seller, if they're adamant about putting it at X, but it's at Y. So how do you reconcile that difference without offending them, but yet still be appropriate in the market?
Well, I think it goes back to, you're gaining trust on your professional opinion and what value you can bring to that seller. And the value that I can bring to your seller is that I am working in this market every day and I'm seeing the numbers every day. And here is the proof and here is the numbers as to what's happening in your neighborhood, in your county, around you, and here's my experience in this neighborhood.
You guys have a really tough job. I'm not sure I could do it.
It's tough, but again, I think at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? At the end of the day, again, as I said, there's another realtor that I'm sure will take your business, but that's just not how I'm going to conduct my business, put my name on it. If you aren't going to understand what's going on, and again, I think that there's one thing where you want to be ambitious and you want to try to market your house a little bit higher than what it should be. That's fine. But if after a few days we're not getting any showings or we're not getting any movement on it, then please take my advice and let's talk about what is realistic in this market.